What's up, YouTube? Just driving along through the mountains, Pennsylvania. Coming from Buffalo, New York. I had to take a load for Amazon up to their Buffalo facility and drop off a load and pick up an empty trailer. And as you can see, it's my windshields are all messed up from the snow last night and all the salt over the road. Look at that. It's disgusting. I stopped at a TA and actually wiped my windshield off. But within a matter of 10 minutes just driving back on the road, looks like that again. But I wanted to show y'all this view. And I don't even know if the video does it justice. But this is a type of view that, you know, I'm able to wake up to as a truck driver in the mountains. I'm thankful for that. You know, I'm thankful for the little things in life, like being able to see these sights. You know, my job takes me to various parts of the country, allows me to go places that I might not have ever been had I not been a truck driver. I found love in places that I would have never, experienced had it not been for this career. Or maybe I should say more accurately, it's a possibility I might not have never experienced it being in this career. You know, so it's just a beautiful thing, man. Like Texas, for example. Anybody who knows me knows I talk about Texas all the time. I fell in love with Texas, and Texas is a place that, you know, I would have gone to Texas in my lifetime, but with the frequency that I went to Texas as a truck driver, I mean, for probably damn near a year, I went to Texas every week. And I was able to learn, the ins and outs, and familiarize myself with different places, different neighborhoods. You know, I can tell you streets now, and highway systems in and out of Texas. I can tell you good spots to eat. Little places where I get my dessert, like the corner bakery. Got the ice box cherry cookies. You know, so I'm blessed, man. Definitely blessed. And trucking allows me to take care of my responsibilities, man. It allows me to take care of my family. I make a really good living driving trucks. And the funny thing is, I went to school traditionally like I was taught to do. You know, go to school, go and get your degree, go and get your master's degree. I did all that. I have a master's degree. And the thing about it is, it wasn't until I actually got behind the wheel of the truck that I actually made decent money. It's a beautiful thing. Last week I drove into New York City. I had 4 or 5 stops in Manhattan. I delivered straight to the end user, which means I had to unload the truck and take it down tight city blocks and stuff like that. But and a lot of people dreaded doing that. That's why they brought me in as a coyote or a lone contractor. I don't want to divulge who the client was, but the client is a big established company and they have their own trucks and they have their own employee truck drivers. And because of the holidays, they had a large amount of deliveries they had to make to the end user, but it was in New York City and in Manhattan, and they didn't want to send their trucks in there, is what I was told, because of the high probability of an accident, insurance-wise, and their employee drivers didn't want to go. So I picked it up as a contractor, like a hitman. I took the job, and I was paid handsomely for it. For one day of work, they paid me $2,000. I had 4 or 5 stops in Manhattan. One day of work, they paid me $2,000. But more than the money, though, you know, just being able to wake up to sights like this, contribute something valuable to the country, moving goods. I love it, man. If you're on a peripheral looking in, you want to get in truck driving, or you're right there indecisive. There's a truck stop right there. I don't know what's that. If you're indecisive, then go for it. It's life changing. But what I will preach against, and anybody who knows me, don't go with the big boys, man. I feel like the big boys ruining our industry. And you know what I'm talking about big boys. Those big carriers who come to your school, they come to CDL school, promise you all this, all the glitter and flashing lights and shiny stuff that you can coming out of school, pay for tuition and all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing. All right, you need to get at least a year of experience. Traditionally, I was lucky, but traditionally you need a year experience to get a decent job driving trucks where you're not being screwed and you can actually make a livable wage. All right, that's the traditional route. Now the mega carriers benefit because they act as a farm system. They'll bring in the new recruits or the recent graduates from truck driving school, and they'll train you up. Because once you come out of truck driving school, you need training and you need experience. You need to get behind the wheel and figure some things out, because you're not going to learn it all in there. But they'll bring you on board and they will train you, and they'll give you that year of experience. You know, I'm kind of split on how I feel about that, but if you need to go and you have no other option to get that experience, then, you know, I'm not going to knock you for that. Get that experience. But once you have that year or year and a half of experience, whatever you need to get the job that you want to get, move on out of the mega carriers. Move out. I personally think the trucking industry is a contractor industry, meaning the smaller companies, owner-operators, the small fleet guys are actually the lifeblood of the trucking industry. And business-wise, it makes sense that it would be that way. But mega carriers who take smaller wages, or who take a small percent in order to run a load, drive down the cost of freight in this industry. That creates a phenomenon called race to the bottom. What happens is, because freight is so low and so scarce, that over time, even the small mom and pop owner operators or small fleet people start to take these low wages to move freight because that's all they can get, because it's been driven down by the mega carriers who will take anything, and they can afford to take anything because they're so massive and they're an army. They have so many people. I'm not sure. I've been out here grinding. I'm either at the border of six figures or I'm at six figures driving this truck. And I just had to break down doing the numbers. And no, I'm not puffing my stats or puffing my. That's what I did. I just told you that I made $2,000, which I could actually show you. $2,000 for a day's work in New York City. And yet it amazes me when I hear people who drive a truck for a living and they work for these mega carriers and stuff like that, and you barely making ends meet. You're making $500 a week, and after they done extorted you of your funds and took this away and paid your tuition and all them other bells and whistles, it amazes me, man. People are actually making that, driving a truck. No way, you know what I mean? No way I'm pushing this bad boy. And I don't, the thing is, I'm not making this video because aside from taking care of my family and everything like that, the little perks of life, I really don't, I'm not driven by money like that. I'm driven by contribution. If I can make a solid contribution to whatever it is, business, trucking industry, whatever, that's what drives me instead of actual money. So when I'm talking about money, I'm not saying it to be braggadocious. I'm not bragging about having 2 years experience and I'm almost at six figures and stuff like that. Like that's cool to maintain our lifestyle, my family and I, but I don't really, it's not big to me. So when I'm saying that to say that you have to be smarter with organizing your career. These mega carriers aren't going to pay you the money that you got in here thinking that you were going to make. That's not where you make it at. And the thing about it is that this isn't a traditional job. So you might not be force-fed or hand-fed, the money like if you were at a desk, at a job, and you were sitting at a desk and they pay you these wages. And what I mean by that is you have to be creative. Even organizing and setting up your career, you have to be creative. I got in here under an owner-operator who gave me a shot. He was an asshole, but he gave me a shot to get out here and learn, how to drive the truck with his trucks, which I'm thankful for. But he never shorted me with, hey. My first year I was in the 60s. I was in 60s making that, and the thing about it is that I could have made more driving with the owner operator. I was OTR. He paid me a percentage of the load, but probably 2 months out of that year I didn't even work. So that's $60,000 in 10 months. Out of 10 months, 2 of those months I didn't work at all. I was home. So again, not to brag or anything like that, man, but you just can't be lazy with okay, so when you get in trucking, shake off the lazy, man. And what I mean by that is driving the truck, you can't be lazy. Pre-tripping the truck, you can't be lazy. Backing into a tight spot, you can't be lazy. Structuring your career, you can't be lazy. And what I mean by lazy is just, I'm going to just go with the big boys and just, Nah, man, you have to get really organized a plan. Whether you're going to be an owner-operator, a fleet owner, or, you can be a company man, but just set yourself up that you have a skill set that's desired. Or that you yourself, like me, I view myself as a business and my truck driving abilities as a skill. And when you bring me on or you hire me to do a job, you have premium skill. So you're going to pay for those skills. The loads are timely. I bring your loads safely. I greet the shippers and receivers with good customer service skills. I keep your trucks up. I take care of your trucks. They're clean. I'm not messing up the transmission or anything like that. You're going to pay for that. That's the business I offer. I offer my skills as a business. So if you don't see it like that and you just want to get behind the wheel and, get with one of these big boy carriers or something like that, and you whining that they only paying you $600 a week or something like that, man, you really need to get out. You really need to refocus your grind, man. Because you have to have a game plan. That's the thing. You have to have a game plan. I'm gonna end on this note. I had a friend of mine who we both came out of school at the same time, and again, I got lucky with the owner operator. I got actually rejected by a few of the big boys, so I ended up by default, trying to get a job, and the owner operator picked me up. So I'm not lacking empathy when I say this stuff. I'm giving you this information so that if you didn't know this, you can take it from me. But so anyway, he went with the mega carrier. I was with the owner operator, and at one particular time, my boss, the owner operator, he was saying, hey, if you know anybody else, who like yourself, they grind, they get out here and stuff like that, even if they are Daisy Fresh rookie, let me know so I can possibly give them a shot. So I called my buddy, and he's like, I said, hey man, it's a good opportunity. Come on. The dude is a little bit of a dick and everything like that, but the pay and the experience to me is worth it. And this joker told me he wanted to stay with the mega carrier until the mega carrier had paid off his tuition. And it made no sense to me, because if you're making, if at the end of the week you're making $500, $600, $700 at the end of the week, and the perk is he's giving you $200 or $300 a month to pay your tuition, so what? So what? He's paying your tuition. You know what? I was paying my tuition. In fact, I just paid off my tuition for truck driving school. But who cares if they're paying your tuition, if they're paying you $700 a week or $600, whatever they're paying you a week? Who cares? I'm making $1,500 to $2,000 a week driving with the owner operator. Pay your own tuition out of those wages. But the thing about it, and to not mince words, people want security so bad. It's the idea of working for a giant established corporation that they're going to take care of you, that I guess it's scary to put yourself out there and come to a lesser known company or owner operator out there who might be out of business in a year or something, which is actually what happened. He's out of business now. But the whole thing about it is that when you come into trucking, you have to look at yourself as the business. You're the business. You have a valuable skill set. and you have a golden ticket, which is that CDL. As long as you keep your credentials right, as long as your skill set is at a premium level, you'll always be able to have a job and charge for what you're worth. But the first thing is you have to know what you're worth. You have to know that, okay, I understand that, you're a rookie and you gotta learn how to drive a truck and, different things, but at the end of the day, if you're complaining about making $500, then obviously you don't think that's what you're worth behind the truck. So you establish what you're worth, and you go out there and you command that salary. You command what you're worth. Now I know some of the old vets and salty dogs are gonna not like this comment, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, every man has to walk their own journey. I used to tell my wife coming right out of CDL school, I'm not taking anything under $1,000 a week, because that's what at minimum I thought I was worth coming out of truck driving school. From day one when I decided to be a truck driver and I wrapped my mind around being a truck driver, I actually dedicated myself to the craft. I used to work in a warehouse. I used to work 11, 12 hours in a warehouse overnight. My shift started at 11 p.m. And I'd get off, somewhere in the morning whenever we were finished loading the trucks and cleaning the dock and stuff like that. I'd go home, eat, and sleep for about a half an hour and head right to truck driving school. Got no sleep. Come home. I had 2 small babies. Take care of them. Be a husband. Take a shower and head right to work. And then back then I didn't even have a car. And the car that I did have for a short amount of time was crappy. So it was always breaking down to me. I caught the bus and the light rail an hour to and an hour from work. I would get to work, work like a madman, breaking my back, loading heavy stuff on the trucks, and then on a little half an hour breaks 2 half-an-hour breaks that they gave us. I think one was like at 1 and the other one was like at 3 or something like that, 3 or 4, something like that, 3 or 4. During those breaks, I wouldn't nap because I was dead tired. I would study the hell out of my CDL books, study the craft. So when I say I wasn't taking anything less than $1,000 coming out of school, I meant it. To me, in my mind, I earned that. And you have to take that same mentality. Even going to CDL school, when I was out there practicing driving the trucks, there was a lot of opportunity for us to bullshit, for us to be on downtime and kick the shit, and hang out with people and make new friends. But I wasn't there for that. I took every opportunity to back up the truck, alley dock, all set, straight back, do the little obstacle course, do my pre-trip and everything. I was always working. $1,000. Nothing less than $1,000. So when I came out and I was working with the owner operator and I was making that type of money, I felt that's what was owed to me. When I made that first check and I made $2,000 in a week, I felt that's what was owed to me. And that's net. I netted $2,000 to be. Anybody out there, oh, you need net or you need gross? It's $2,000. Put $2,000 in my bank account. After running from Eagle Pass, Texas, up to Vermont, bringing a load back down to Maryland. $2,000, but I earned it. So to finish my old man rant, I'm going to just say, leave these mega carriers alone, man. You use them for what they're worth. If you need to. If you need to use them as a farm system where you can train for that year and a half or however long you need to train for, but get out of them, man. Get out of there. They're crushing our industry, and we actually really need to go back to free enterprise in the industry. Really need to go back to where it's owner-operator dominant. All right, this your boy Trucks and Cigars. I'll holler at y'all later, people. Look at that view.